let's just say you wanted, you say, hey, Matthew, I need help solving this equation, x plus 4 equals 10, which you probably don't need help with this, but let's just say you did. I would
Yeah,
look
I'm
through this.
already lost. I'm like, X.
Right.
Well, I know it's 6, right? 6
Right,
plus 4.
right,
Yeah. Because
right.
X would be 6. Okay. Yeah. That one's, yeah, you're right.
What I'm doing is I'm asking you, what do you want to work on today? What would help you? And that's what I'm asking you to either send it by email, or you can text, or whatever is best for you to get over what you want to work on. Or I can have you share your screen if you want to show me that way, like show me something that you're working on in class.
Okay, so like, so here's an equation that I have is, so it says solve 5, and I can put it solve 5, and then minus, and then in parentheses, it's x minus 9.
Are you able to send this over either?
Yeah, let me send you like a picture of it, like a screenshot picture.
Yeah, screenshot is fine.
Yep, that would work too. Okay, sorry, hold on. Let me get to that. That would work so much better. All right, so try. Okay, so it is the one in the middle there. So you'll probably see the other stuff, but cut off the.
You can either text that over, email,
Okay.
drop it in the chat, the Zoom chat. It's whatever you want to do to get it over to me.
Okay. All right, so let me, tell me if you can read this, because it might have cut off part of it, but if you get the gist of it, otherwise I'll send another picture, maybe sideways like this, so you can see the actual, yeah, let me do it like this.
Sure, yeah, I've got it here. So it says to solve the following equation, 5 minus x minus 9 equals 7 parentheses x plus 2. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. Yeah, this is an easy place for us to start.
There's a thing that says 4x right after that.
Yeah, it's implied in here that we're solving for x. Okay.
Okay.
So there's kind of several things here going on. One, the main thing here that this problem is trying to emphasize is what's called the distributive property.
Okay.
Which isn't really important, but that's what this is emphasizing here. This 7 is being distributed to both the terms inside parentheses here. Have you seen that before in class?
Yeah, I've seen where that they multiply that 7 times the x, or multiply the 7 times the 2.
That's
and then
right.
The x plus the 2, whatever that. Okay.
Yeah, so there's this intermediate step that most people don't even write down, but it's 7 times x plus 7 times 2. Okay, so 7 times x is 7x. 7 times 2 is 14. Is that okay? Is that?
Yeah, so 7 times x is going to be 7 times x, because that stays the same. And then 7 times 2 has to be, it's like has to be solved, so it's a 14. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Now on the left here, this one's more complicated. That's why I'm saving it for the next point of discussion here. So there's a lot of things in math that are implied but not written, and one of them is that it's actually a -1 that's here, even though it's just a negative sign. There's really a -1 here, and that's what you're distributing in to this right here. Okay.
So the 5, you don't distribute, just the negative?
The 5 is, and again, not written, it's +5. It's being added, but there's nothing, it's not doing anything. It's just sort of, like off to the side here.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to put a plus here. Maybe we can talk about that in a moment, but it's -1 times x, this -1 times this x,
okay,
plus -1 times -9.
Okay, so how is it? Well, how is it? That's where I get confused, because now it's a plus, and then now it's a -1, which is that first one in parentheses, and then the -9.
Right.
right?
Let's get through this problem and let me address that specific question that you've got there.
Gotcha.
So just for the moment, let's just accept that this is true and move through it. So, but I will answer that because it's a very important thing to understand what is going on here. So let's start with maybe the easier stuff. -1 times -9, two negatives make a positive, so that's 9.
Okay.
-1 times x is -x. And then you have a 5 here.
Okay.
Is this okay at this point? I know we're going to talk about that, but like,
Yeah, I can see where you get the minus x, I guess, and then
yes,
because you're taking away the one out of there,
yes,
and then I can see where you get the 9,
yes,
and then the 5. Okay.
yes. Okay. So the next step here is actually to combine like terms. This 5 and this 9, they're considered like terms. Okay. And maybe to better understand this, we can rearrange this on the left here. We can actually write it as 5 plus 9 minus x. Maybe it's more clear now that you can combine those.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's 14 minus x equals 7x plus 14.
Okay.
Now there's a lot of conventions in math, and one of them is that there's a tendency to always bring the variables to the left side of the equation. And in this case, if we want to bring 7x to the left side, we can do that. But I guess I want to ask, have you seen anything in class, sort of a preference for moving things right or moving things left? Do you recall anything like that you were studying?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to, yeah, I've seen it where they do that. They
Okay.
move everything to the left.
Yeah, so it's generally left. Now in this problem, 7x is positive, even though it's not written there, it is positive. So that's why you subtract it from both sides.
Yes, I've seen that.
Okay. So this becomes 14. And then this is another point of maybe it's unclear. It's minus x plus minus 7x, which is minus 8x. There's really -1 here, -7. That gives you -8. On the right-hand side, these cancel, leaving you with 14.
Yeah, that's where I'm always like at that point right there. That's where I'm always like, okay, why is this doing a? I know it's because if it's at a minus, then it would obviously be a plus. But if it doesn't say anything, you automatically assume it's a plus. Then the one below is going to be a minus.
That's right. Yeah, it's what's implied, meaning it's not written.
What's implied, yeah.
And then undoing what's implied.
Yeah, that's where I'm getting confused. Like it's implied, but I'm like, if I don't see the the equation or the symbol there, I don't remember that or something,
Right,
and it's
right.
like, what do you mean it's implied? So I got to get that.
Yeah, and it's okay to write it. I mean, I help a lot of students. I mean, I don't mind writing this because it is clear. It's clear that that's positive and that's positive.
Right.
A little plus there. Okay, so to undo this plus 14, you're going to subtract 14.
Okay.
And then these cancel, leaving you minus 8x equals 0.
Okay.
And then this -8 is multiplying x, so you divide by -8. You always undo one thing with another. So multiplication is undone by division.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that definitely was a lot of twists and turns. And
Yeah,
then,
this problem had a lot of like individual things that I could just hear through the nonverbal communication that, and some verbal kind of things that there's a lot of things that are unclear here for you. So let's take a look at some of these just piece by piece. Let's just talk really quickly about something like this, like 5x minus 3x. Okay. Now, there are many ways to write this. I'm going to rewrite it over here on the right. One way to rewrite this, and this is a convention that I do like, is you always change subtraction to addition of a negative. Have you seen that before?
yes.
Okay. Now, the reason that may be beneficial is somehow it's easier for us to add than to subtract. Like somehow we just prefer that. So
Okay.
in this case, 5x plus minus 3x, well, that's 2x. But so is 5x minus 3x. Like these are exactly the same. It's just like, do you have a preference for this right here? And it's okay if you do.
Hmm.
And I'm asking, like, have you seen this before on the right? Do you like it?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it, like, but I don't know, like, if it's in certain situations that I only use it or in others.
You would always use this if you adhere to this convention. Like this is a very helpful one. So let me give you a slightly more sophisticated example to see if this is better. Let's go with 7 minus 2x minus 3. Okay, so I'm going to come off to the side here and I'm going to rewrite it again just to show you the two possibilities here. So I'm going to change it to plus minus plus minus. Okay, and the reason this is so nice is now you're always adding, because you were asking me about that earlier. It's always preferred to add if you can. So anywhere you see a subtraction, you change to plus negative plus negative.
Oh, and then those numbers like 2 and 3 become negatives.
Yes, yes. So like if I just rewrite this here without the different color, these are exactly the same, but maybe this is somehow easier or better for you to understand how to do this.
Okay.
So for example, the 7 and the when you have plus, what plus allows you to do is rearrange everything. Meaning you can switch the order only when you have plus though. And that's because you want to combine these here.
Okay.
So 7 plus minus 3, well, that's 4 plus minus 2x. Is that okay?
Yeah, so now what you did was just make it a plus. So every time it's implied, or it helps you just flip them so that you can manage it in a plus form instead of a minus form.
Yes.
Okay, that helps a lot, because now I have 7 plus minus 3 is 4 plus. So the negative 2x has to stay that way then, because that's the answer.
Yeah, this is completely correct. You might see it in a textbook written this way, but they're exactly the same.
Okay. So if I were to answer that one, the answer would be 4 plus minus 2x.
Yes.
To that 7 minus 2x minus 3 equals, and it would just be 4 plus minus 2x.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, let me think of one more, like say, so if we did the same format.
Well, let me give you one to try here. So let's
Okay.
go with, because there's variations on this that I want to make sure that there's many variations of this. That's why I want to ask, make sure that you're comfortable with this. So why don't you give this one a try on your own?
All right, so 2x minus 4 plus 8. So I would leave the 2x, and then the minus 4, I would do a plus 4.
So it would become 2x plus negative 4. Because
plus negative 4. So
yes.
That negative stays the same. Plus negative 4. I don't get that. And then because there's a plus there?
What do you mean?
Because you said if, oh, I see, it's plus negative 4 because it's a negative 4.
Yeah.
And then plus, and then it would be, instead of an 8, it just stays the 8. It doesn't stay.
That's right.
It's just a positive. So
yes.
It's an 8. Okay.
Yes. And what's nice here is you're adding. And again, like adding somehow is easier, better, preferred kind of thing.
Okay, so I think that helps me to understand, because before I was thinking that negative 4 changes to a positive 4, but the only thing that changes is that you're adding negative 4. You're not subtracting negative 4.
That's right. That's right. Okay. You said that really well. You really
so well. Now you're going to bring down the 2x is going to be 2x plus negative 4. So, or do you do the negative 4 plus 8 first and do the 2x first?
You can combine those now.
Okay, so now I can bring down the 2x, and then negative 4 plus 8 is going to be 4. right?
+4, yeah.
+4 or +4. Okay, so that I think that's where sometimes I get confused, where I'm like, because in PEMDAS it tells you to go from left to right, but when it comes to actually changing it from plus to negative, you're only going to do whatever's on the right, then go to the left, because especially if it's a 2x only, that's not really something you're solving.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So there are some variations on this that are important here. So let's say it's 3 minus negative 2x plus 4 minus 6x. Okay, so this is different. This is different. I've written it slightly different.
Okay.
What you're seeing now is the case where you have two negatives. Do you see how there's two negatives here?
Yeah.
So when you have two negatives, they negate each other. And we know this in our language that we use. Like if you say, I'm not going to not do something, that means you're going to do that something.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not a language expert, but in math, the two negatives cancel out. So the way that you would work through this problem here is, and I'm going to write it without the parentheses this time, is whenever you see subtracting a negative, you immediately go plus plus. Plus plus. And the reason is two negatives undo each other.
Okay.
So the net result here, the net result is it's 3 plus 2x. These two negatives combine into 1 plus 6x because these combine into 1.
Okay. So let's see, let me go back. Let me see. All right, so this is a 3 minus, and then it's got the parentheses. So those are, oh, now those turn, both of those turn to positive. And then so now you got 3 plus 2x. So instead of them being negative, so you're also going to, it's implied that they're both going to be positive instead of negative. So that part I get, and then it's you keep down with a plus and you take off the parentheses. And then you do the same for the two negatives with the 6x. So you bring that down. So now you have 3 plus 2x plus the 4, and then you're going to get plus 6 instead of negative.
That's right.
6x. Okay, so so now I think I'm starting to see that, because for me, I never realized that you have to change that negative to a positive. I was always trying to do the negative, and that always confused me, because how did it flip? You just imply it's implied.
So you would do all of this, you would do this changing before you do anything else. It's like a base step.
Yeah.
And it really will help.
Yeah, if you don't do that, you're not gonna, you're not gonna, I didn't know that. Like, I don't know why they never told me that.
They may have assumed you either knew it from a previous class or made some other assumptions, and I'm sorry about that, but that, that is.
Or maybe I did do it and then I wasn't really realizing what I did. I don't know, whatever. I just, okay, so now that I know that.
So now you can combine like terms. Like, do you see that the 3 and the 4 are like, and the 2 and the 6x are like?
Yes.
And because there's pluses, you don't have to deal with any weirdness. You're like, oh, it's 3 plus 4. What is 3 plus 4? Well, it's 7. You can do that. What is 2x plus 6x?
8x.
8x. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you were asking me that earlier, like, well, why is it always plus? And I'm gonna try to answer that question, but like there's like a lot of buildup to actually getting to the question you want answered. And this is necessary for understanding. So let me continue with a few more examples here. I'm just going to use two numbers this time, and I want you to see what I want you to realize, that like these are the possible cases that you might see. So when you get a 3 minus a 4, this becomes 3 plus negative 4. Do you see that?
3 plus -4, yes.
And you follow that? Okay. The next possibility that you might get is 3 minus parentheses -4. Okay. And really that is, there's an intermediate step here. It's 3 plus 4, which becomes 3 plus 4. Is that okay? Like whenever you have two negatives, that's the one that we just did.
Yes.
Okay, because it could sometimes just be written like this: 3 minus 4, like that, and it's the same.
It's the same. It's just that the parentheses is there to
Yes.
like make you flip out.
Yes. So now I'm going to show you something that's not any different, but it might appear different. Okay.
Okay.
-3 minus 4. This minus here is describing the 3. It's tied to the 3. It has nothing to do with this here.
Okay.
Okay. So the only thing that changes though is this subtraction here. It becomes plus minus. Do you see that?
Plus minus now. Oh, is it because of the first one is a negative?
No, it has nothing to do with this one
It
here.
has nothing to do with that.
No,
Okay, why does it change then?
So let me try to show you. This part right here is the same as this part right here.
Oh, yes.
So the only thing that moved is like this right here.
Okay.
What I'm trying to get you to realize is like there's certain things you have to like almost ignore because they're tied. Like when I look at, and this, I mean, this is where you want to be. Let me rewrite this one more time. Like I assign this negative to 3. Like I look at this thing as -3. And
Yep.
and it is independent of what's going on over here to the right.
Okay.
Like it's always -3.
Okay.
But this subtract 4, that subtract 4 becomes plus minus 4, and then I move this -3 over here because that's where it is. It's in front.
So on the top, was it still -4 or was it just a +4?
It was
Oh, it
3
was
minus.
a -4. Okay. So how come the one on top is a -4, but the one on the bottom is a +4? That's kind of what. Is it because it's in parentheses?
It's not. These are the only thing I changed. This is what, let me try to, I got too much going on. Let me try this one more time here.
Okay.
3 minus 4 becomes 3 plus -4.
Okay.
The part, let me try to circle this so that it's clear. This right here is what changes to this right here. Do you see that?
Okay.
The -4 becomes plus -4. The 3 just comes with it.
Okay. So the -4 is basically the I don't know, like the sum, I guess, not really the sum,
Well,
but
this operator goes to the right. It never affects the thing on the left.
okay.
Okay. Now go ahead.
But you change it to a plus, even though it's a -4.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you always, now again, this is the example that I was trying to get you to see is really no different. The -4 becomes plus -4.
Yes. Okay.
This part on the right here becomes this part on the right here.
Okay.
So then that means that I just bring the part here in blue, I just bring it over.
The -3.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know why. Okay. I don't know why I got thrown
There's
out.
this tendency to like think that you have to do something different, and it's not. It's like they're two pieces like this.
Okay.
Okay. Now the next example we did, I'm gonna try to do this very carefully, was
Okay.
3 minus -4, or it could be in parentheses 3 minus parentheses -4, but this became 3 plus +4. Two negatives become plus plus. Do you remember doing that?
Yeah, so because on this one, it's going to be plus, how do we
Two
decide?
negatives become two
Oh.
negatives always become plus plus.
Oh, okay, because the other one was a plus. No, the other one was a negative, 3 minus 4.
That's right.
And the
It
other,
became-
but it wasn't a 3 minus, but it wasn't a double negative.
That's
It was
exactly
only a single negative.
perfect language. Double
Got
negative
you,
becomes
got
plus.
you. Okay, okay, I just saw that. Okay.
Now
It
do you,
hit, it,
go ahead.
now it makes sense because I'm seeing that negative 4, and then over here, okay, because it's a negative 4, it's gonna be positive, but if it's just one negative, oh yeah, and if it's only one negative, it's gonna be the negative, but it's gonna be a plus. But if it's gonna be two negative, it's gonna be a plus plus.
Yes.
Oh, see, I didn't see that.
Yes, that's very
Okay.
important. What
Okay,
way you said
yes,
it is
very
perfect.
important.
Okay, now this is the small variation on this previous problem, but notice again, I just moved this number. Like there's nothing going on over here to the right that affects this thing on the left.
Okay,
So if I have -3 minus a -4,
-3 minus, so that's two negatives.
these two are two negatives, so
Yep.
they're going to become
Positives.
+4. Okay.
Plus 4. And then the -3 is going to stay the same.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Okay, so
Oh.
it just comes over.
Yes, yes, I get that now. Like at first, I didn't know like that piece, and now, okay. So the -4, and then that -3, because it's all the way on the left, is just by itself. It's not, has nothing to do with that plus.
That's right.
It has nothing to do with it. It's just going to be brought down.
Yes. There's something that happens in the brain that makes you think there's something to happen and there isn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, like, to be honest, I never noticed that negative or just -3. I always thought that was the same thing. And that's why I was like, why is it sometimes plus and sometimes negative? I just wanted to scream.
So
I was like screaming in myself, like going, why am I not getting that?
One more minor thing here again, the two pluses become just a plus.
Okay, so they just stay as a, okay, the two pluses
they combine, yeah.
Okay, so they just stay as like a 3 plus 4, like
Right.
they combine to 1.
And these two pluses become -3 plus.
And then these two pluses go -3 plus 4.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Now, if you think you understand that, and I actually do think I think there's like a light bulb went off. I'm going to give you 4 problems here that are
Huge.
not
Let's
that
see if
dissimilar.
I can actually do this without forgetting what you just told me.
So this is A.
Okay.
This is B.
Okay.
And I'll do C down here.
Okay.
And D down here.
Okay.
Okay. You can do them in any order, but go ahead and, either work through one.
The first one is going to be the 5, and then just assume that it's a 5 and then a +7. Oh, wait, 5 plus -7.
Yes, this becomes 5 plus -7.
Oof, 5 plus -7. I almost messed that one up.
And then can you give me the final answer here also? That would be
good. Okay,
good.
sure. So 5 plus -7 is going to be 2, +2.
Yeah, so I think of this in terms of money. I've found this really helpful.
Okay.
And this is very negative, but I want you to like hear just the example. You have $5 in your checking account and you buy something for $7. Your checking account is now at -2.
Okay, so you buy something at 5.
No, you have $5.
I have $5.
And the negatives represent purchases.
So I bought something for $7.
Yes, and now you go look at you have this horrible, you go look at your bank account. You're like,
oh my gosh, I'm short $2 because I actually spent $7 instead of 5.
Yes.
So I'm short $2. Okay, so it's going to be -2.
So what I do is I think of the first number as your balance, and then the second number is either a purchase or a deposit. Either in accounting it's credit or debit, but like purchases we know take away, deposits add to it.
Okay, that helps. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Where do you want
so
to go next? B,
let's
C, or
go to
D?
the next one. -5 minus -7. -5 minus.
You're talking about this one down here, letter C.
Oh, letter B. I'm on B. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm doing
Okay.
B. So -5 minus 7 is going to be, so leave the -5 by itself where it's at, and then it's going to be plus 7 because
The subtraction goes to plus negative.
so okay, so it's only
Just
one
like you did here. You change it to plus negative.
plus negative. So the negative stays the same, plus negative. So plus -7. Oh, okay. So I'm going to turn that minus into a plus, and then the 7 is going to be, so that's not going to be a plus. It's just going to be a negative.
We're looking at letter B. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. The -5 just comes down. You're done dealing with it.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
And over here on the, just like we did in the last problem, you changed subtraction of 7 to plus -7.
Okay, so it's still going to be a -7. That's not a +7, but it's a positive, so it's a plus -7.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now the analogy here is your balance is negative. You have -5 in your checking account. We know this still works for some reason in this world.
Yeah.
And then you buy a $7 sandwich somewhere. What's your new balance?
I'm going to be -13.
12. Yeah.
Oh, 12, sorry.
Yes.
75,
Yes.
12.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So whenever you're subtracting, it becomes plus negative. That's like the key skill we're trying to pick up here.
Right. Yeah, that's what I meant. 12.
Okay.
Okay, so let me see if I can get this next one. -5 minus -7. Oh, okay, so this is going to be the one that it's plus. Okay, so the -5 stays there. I'm not going to mess with that. And then the plus is going to be plus, and then the -7 is going to be plus 7. So now I've got -5 plus 7.
Okay, good.
Is that right?
Yes, and
Okay.
the two pluses go to,
Right, 2 pluses go to just 1 plus, so it's going to be -5 plus 7.
yes.
So if I have -5 in my account and I'm going to spend 7.
No. You're the plus means you're purchasing. Or
Oh,
not, I'm sorry, depositing. The first
Oh.
one's your balance. Think of it as your balance is -5, like you said. But when you're
Oh, okay.
when this number is positive, it means you're putting money back in.
Okay, yes. Okay, so it's not a negative. The one on top was a negative. So
That's
this one
right.
is a positive.
That's right.
So I had, my balance was -5. I put 7 in there. So I have a +2.
Yes. Very
Okay.
good. Very good.
All right. Because, all right, so that's good. Now let me see on the next one is 5 minus -7. It's going to be the 5 stays there. The negative turns into a plus. And then the -7 stays, oh, that's going to be a +7 because it's a double negative.
Very good.
So now I have 5 plus 7 because it's a +7.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I have 5 plus 7, which equals 7, 8, 12. So I have a +12.
Very good. Very good. Okay. All right. So let me go back to this, and this is what I would like to kind of close out with, and then I'll make some other comments. So we were working on a problem like this. This is just part of it from earlier.
Yes.
And I made some comments to you. I said, well, there's really a -1 here.
Yeah.
And now maybe you see that, well, not only is it -1, it's actually plus -1. You see how I converted that subtraction by 1 into this right here?
Yeah, because you got to put a plus because it's a -1. You got to put a plus there.
Right,
Yes,
right.
you got to turn it into a plus.
So you bring the 5 down plus, okay.
Okay.
And then the distributive property, we didn't really get into, is -1 times x plus, because of this actually right there, -1 times -9, because you were asking me why is it plus plus, and it all stems from the fact that this is supposed to really be plus -1.
Yeah, and then the -1 is the same because the one, where did we get the -1 we get from the -1 that we have there. So
Yes.
we have 5 plus -1x, which is plus -1 parentheses, and we have the -1 and the -9. So we're getting so what I'm thinking is we bring down the -1x, and then now we're just going to plus them as
Yes.
-1, -9. So we're putting that same -1 that's left to the x
Yep.
over on over on the right, and then we're adding the -9, and then we're plussing it because it's plus. Why do we just assume that it's plus because of the negatives?
It's plus because of this right here. That's why it.
Oh, that plus. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're just bringing that plus over.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha. And then so that's plus there. All right, so I see that now. And then now we're gonna leave the 5 where it is. And then we have -1 times x.
Yeah, we've already done this part.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show you this kind of like get back to like what did we start with.
Gotcha.
So let me, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to pause right here for a moment. Just hang on with me if you don't mind.
Sure.
All right.